Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Behind Her Brand Monday morning brew. Happy New Year. If this is your first brew you're hopping on to for the new year. We are going to jump right in because I have quite a bit that I want to go over. And this is one of those brews that I am really excited about because I love sometimes, not sometimes, all the time, the comments that we get from people, but there's specific brews that I know that people give some really good insights into their own growth and development. And so this is one that I am looking forward to and seeing the comments. So, as you all saw from the title, are you living life by design or by default? And this question was brought up. I was doing an interview about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I think it was. And someone was just asking me, how do I create balance? And I know many people always say there's no such thing as work-life balance and things like that. I personally don't believe that. I think there is such thing as balance between your life and your work. I think that balance is a matter of decision. It's a matter of choice. And I learned this in my early 20s before I was a wife, before I was a mother. I remember I was working so hard to build my speaker business at the time. And things were growing, things were amazing, all the things. And I remember one day, one of my very best friends at the time, she said, can we never see you anymore? And I was like, well, I'm just busy. I got this, I got this, I got that. And so she was like, okay, but I have my baby shower in a couple weeks. I hope you can make it. And at that time, you all, my business was thriving so much in my early 20s. And I didn't know the word balance. I didn't know that I didn't have to work day and night and on weekends. And I was working so much to where I told her I couldn't make her baby shower because I had a really important event that I could attend to get more business for my clients. And at that time, the mindset in the business culture was, especially at the age I was, it was, you got to hustle, you got to get out there, you got to go, 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 because later in life, when you get married and have kids, you're not going to be able to do all this. So stack it up now. So I was in that zone and I missed her first baby, okay, baby shower. And that ripped apart our friendship because she was like, you're so focused on building that you're missing moments in all of our lives. And we had a friendship circle that was really close, but I was gunning it over here. And that was probably one of the hardest things that I ever experienced. It was it was a slap in the face because I'm thinking, no, I love you. I care about you. Y'all, you're my friends. But yet they were feeling my busyness. They were feeling my schedule. They were feeling my imbalance. And so over a course of time, I didn't change immediately, but over the course of time, when I realized I was getting less invitations to events, people weren't calling me as much. It just became a thing of where I was so out of balance. I was losing the people in my life. And the cherry on top was when my mom was like, are you going to be able to come home for the holidays? Because you've been so busy. We haven't seen you all year. And if y'all know me, I love my family. And I didn't even realize I was so busy that I had not even seen them. Okay. And now my situation may seem kind of extreme, but it was my early lesson when I learned about how am I designing my life. And so that, I would say probably the next 6, 7 months is when I realized I had created something that just simply wasn't healthy. It was hurting everything and everyone around me. And so I made a hard decision. And it was hard because my clients were so used to me being so available all the time that no more weekends, no more working after hours, unless something is like absolutely necessary. um, and I put some hard lines in, y'all. um, my personal life with my friends, my family, tremendously gotten better. I had some clients that were not happy that I was not available all the time, so I lost some clients. But what I gained was my peace of mind. What I gained was understanding what the word boundaries was. And at that time, and don't let me be very clear, I still had a work in progress in learning boundaries and saying no, but that was my beginning lessons. And so as I gotten older over the years, got married, kids, and all the things, building a life by design is by far my most prominent thing that I focus on. I want to make sure spiritually, relationally, for fun, that I have structure. So even now, I don't work on weekends. People email me throughout the weekend or text me, and I won't respond until Monday morning. I don't work in the evenings really anymore. It takes a lot for me to do something in the evening, a lot, but I just don't. We have set family dinner times. There's a lot of different things in my design that I created in my life so that I could feel more at peace. I can feel balance. And I do have balance. I do believe there is a thing called work-life balance. It's how you choose to balance your life. Like I feel like I'm not compromising time with my husband and my children. I feel like that I'm giving my clients my best in the hours that I have carved out every single week. I feel like I'm giving them my absolute best. I feel like when it comes to my time with God, that I'm not giving him hurried time. I'm giving him intentional time that I created, not created, he created, but that I have purposed for me and him in the mornings and even in the evenings. Like there's ways that we can create a life by design. And so I wanted to bring this up because as we are all starting a new year, maybe you are in that phase where you have mastered this, and maybe you can offer some tips. So post below. Maybe this is something you're like, man, I just got through this very thing. And let me tell you some lessons I learned on how to create a life by design. And if you're someone that says, I can't see how to make that happen, I got so much on my back, share that too. Maybe someone can say, okay, let me give you some tips. Because sometimes it's just taking one thing at a time. Sometimes it's just saying, okay, by design for this next month, I'm only going to focus on this one thing and get that into a rhythm. Next month, I'm going to focus on another thing and get that into a rhythm. So maybe it's just simply doing one thing incrementally to where you start really building into the life that you desire. And I'm going to say something else too on this. I had to change my narratives that I was living every day to create this life that I'm telling you by design. I had to really change that. I don't have to have a hustle mindset. Done away with that. I don't have to subscribe to what I'm told you have to do to build. I'm allowed to create the narratives that I know fit best with me, for myself individually, but also me as my family and as a businesswoman. So I wrote down 3 questions I want to pose to you, and I would love for you to kind of consider this for yourself. And before I pose these, let me just say this: like for the brews, you all know they're designed to hopefully to be encouraging, to be helpful, and also for it to be a collaborative conversation. Like if you have thoughts or opinions or suggestions or lessons, post them below. I want this to be something where if someone comes throughout the week, they can see, oh, I never thought about that, or oh, that's a really good point. Because I know that none of us are choosing to want to live a life by default, a life on autopilot, a life that you quickly want to get to the weekend. You quickly want to get to bed at night so you can just go to sleep and shut out the day. You quickly are trying to avoid certain things. No one wants to be on autopilot and living an existence that does not feel fulfilling, that doesn't feel productive, that doesn't feel good. That is not what I believe that any of us wants, right? So let's change the narrative around that. So here are 3 quick questions. Where in your life are you showing up by habit instead of intention? And what would it take to show up fully? What would it take to say, you know what? Now I'm living by design. Maybe right now you're at a job that you just feel like you can't grow. I am not saying quit. We're going to use wisdom, but maybe it might be, let me look at another position that might give me more flexibility, or that might allow me to stretch, might allow me to grow differently. So I don't feel like I'm doing the same thing over and over and over without growth. Maybe it's in your relationships, maybe it's in your wellness journeys, whatever it might be. Where in your life can you show up by habit? I'm sorry, where in your life are you showing up by habit instead of intention? And what would it take to show up fully? Okay. The second question: which beliefs about yourself are quietly limiting you? And are you ready to challenge them? Are you ready to face those things that you keep saying, I'm a procrastinator? I don't have time. Ooh, I don't have the resources yet. I don't have a lot of people around me that would fill in the blank. Like, what are things that you're saying that's limiting you that you need to challenge today? And just take one. Maybe it's only a couple. Address one and work that one out, and then address the next one. The third one: if this week were a chapter in your legacy, which cannot read this morning, y'all. I might need some coffee. I've been drinking a lot of water. I might need some coffee. No. What choices would you make differently to write it on purpose? I think about this so often. Every day on the news, we see so much stuff that happens where people have these situations happen that takes their life. They didn't wake up that morning thinking that by lunchtime their life will be gone by an accident or whatever it might be. And I'm always thinking of this week, this day, this moment. What am I doing, saying, or being that's going to help write that next chapter of my life? That's going to be a blessing to the people in my life. What is it that I'm doing and how am I living that out intentionally? And some days, y'all, I feel like I missed the mark completely. And some days I feel like I'm right on target. Um, and every day isn't going to be perfect, but having that question, and it is something internally I think about. I don't want to waste a day. I don't want to waste a moment. Um, I want to definitely live with intention, but I also want to live a life where I don't compromise my family and I don't compromise myself. I don't compromise time with friends. I don't compromise if someone says, "Hey, can I have some of your time today just to talk?" Like, I want to be able to have that flexibility in my life where it's not like, "Oh, it's 9 a.m. I got a million things to do, and I know this may take a couple of hours." I don't want to be that. I want, with wisdom, obviously, to be able to have the time to be present for people in my life. And so that's the design that I chose. What is the design that you need to choose for yourself, for your family, um, for the people in life that you care about, for your goals, for your dreams? What life do you need to design to infuse things that make you laugh, smile, have fun, um, whatever it might be? What is that? So I look forward to all of your comments. Please post and share below. And thank you again. As always, thank you for hopping on to our Monday Morning Brew. And I pray and hope that you have an incredibly productive week this week. All right, take care, everyone.